If you've ever sat back and decided to cosplay Zeus, then you have absolutely come to the right video, because I will explain all of the lightning enhancing buffs that I have been able to dig up and the quite frankly ridiculous damage that can come out of your lightning based spells when it all comes together. I am about level 212 in Way of the Strong, and while I am missing a couple of things to squeeze a little bit more attack power, a little bit more spell power, a little bit more Onmyo magic, I have all of the critical pieces that I need to be dealing tons of damage, even at very late game levels. First, I am going to go over all of the equipment and Guardian Spirit buffs that you will require in order to optimize spell damage. My primary Guardian Spirit is the Thunderbird, because it gives you 20% more lightning damage, and is the obvious choice for a gimmicky build like this. Our secondary Guardian Spirit is Nikomata. Now you can actually choose any lightning Guardian Spirit that you want to be your secondary, because if both of your Guardian Spirits are lightning based, you will gain a 5% buff to your lightning damage. I have chosen Nikomata because it grants me extra yokai ability damage when I have a feral Guardian Spirit, which I do. The soul cores I am running are the Spinny Spinny Fire Iceman and Unlimited Blade Works. The reasoning for this is that this build actually does not have really ridiculous DPS by itself, because Onmyo magic, it ain't no water sword, unfortunately. Unlimited Blade Works is a good way to supplement that, because it will deal a huge amount of damage to a single target, or clear multiple high-level enemies that happen to be standing close together in one shot. It is ridiculous. Ryomen Sukuna, our secondary, is good because it gives you an A- anima gain when enemy is confused, and an A gain in anima whenever you strike an enemy with your Onmyo magic. Since we are primarily using Onmyo magic, this means you are going to generate an abundance of anima to keep your Unlimited Blade Works active, but this is not an Otakimaru build, this is a Zeus build. And to be Zeus, you will require the Great Kanemitsu Sword, the Master Archer Bow, 1 piece of Master Archer armor, 4 pieces of Genmei Onmyo Mage's armor, a generic Magatama, and a Yasakani Magatama. I'm going to cover all of the abilities on these armor and weapons, and how they will buff up that lightning damage. Our Yasakani Magatama will allow us to run multiple set bonuses at the same time, and is really essential in any in-game Nioh build, at least in my opinion. It can also roll untouched Onmyo magic, 10% more lightning damage, as well as Onmyo magic up when your Amrita gauge is full. This is actually a multiplier to your base Onmyo magic power, which means the higher your Onmyo magic power is, the greater the benefit will be as your Amrita gauge fills up, but do not stack 2 of these, because 2 of these multiplied together is actually worse than something that just increases your base Onmyo power as well as 1 of these. Speaking of, Magatama is one of the accessories that can run untouched Onmyo magic, so we are using it, as well as Onmyo magic power, and lightning damage, and then whatever else you feel like running on it. I am running auto-grave recovery on mine because I'm a bitch that constantly dies, and this is a really good perk for me. For our 4-piece Genmei Onmyo Mages set, we are getting lots of benefits for our castings in general. The fact that they happen to be lightning is just a plus. This includes 10% more Onmyo magic damage when you are at full health, 52 Onmyo magic power, which is a huge increase. It is pretty much more than all of the Onmyo magic up on all of the armor put together. At 4 pieces, you debuff any enemy that you hit with bootleg weakness. This is good because, well, more damage for you and for your allies. 5 pieces gives us Onmyo magic untouched at 15%. This, plus all the untouched Onmyo magic on all armor, and our 2 Magatama, gives us almost 50% untouched Onmyo magic, which will greatly increase its longevity even in a longer level. But if you still find yourself running short, you can always forge a bunch of sacred brushes to give you that little bit of extra boost to carry you. We are using 2 pieces of Master Archer set because 15% more lightning damage. You can't see it from here, but we are also using Tachibana Clan for 13% more lightning damage. You can really choose any ranged weapon that you want, but I am using a bow because it benefits from the Master Archer set with 20% more damage. I am using the Horn Thirst, but you can use really whichever one suits you most. We are using the Great Kanamitsu sword in our offhand for 25% extra Onmyo, sorry, plus 25 Onmyo magic power. Because, really, why not? Your main weapon, though, can be whatever suits you. I am using the Regal Lion and Bone Eater because it has native lightning damage, which benefits from this build, as well as the usual melee key damage, attack bonus magic, shock accumulation, and life drain. All of which are very good perks for what I am going for. Now that we have all of the buffs down, this is what we will be working with. On our primary tab, we got elixirs, so you don't die, Thunder Shot, Thunderstorm Shot, and Raizen Feather. Raizen Feather is the entire reason that I have 80 dexterity on this Onmyo build, because Raizen Feather is consistently the most powerful single cast by a huge margin. When an enemy has ki, it deals a little bit less damage than Thunderstorm Shot, but when the enemy is out of ki, its damage is boosted to an obscene degree. You know, I have clocked it in at over 10,000 damage. It is fucking nuts. You definitely want to have this on your lightning build because it does benefit from all of this extra lightning damage that we are using. For our secondary tab of useful stuff that you will not necessarily use all the time, but is good to have on call, we have Weakness and Sloth because really, you know, they're good spells to just have in general. 4 Iga-style giant bombs because explosions, and also if you set an enemy on fire while they're already electrified, you will proc Discord, which will cause them to take more damage from anything, namely your lightning. We also have Lightning Shikigami that behave as landmines or a shotgun, depending on how ballsy you're feeling. They deal lots of damage and can actually hit multiple enemies at the same time, even though you do have to use them a little bit tactically in order to get the full benefit out of them. To show this build in action, we have picked Gyuki in Way of the Strong, because Gyuki is a very large, very slow target that is weak to the multi-shot abilities that we will be using. So, we're going to use a couple of bombs in order to weaken him up. We have Discord on him. Now, we are going to just go to town with Thunderstorm Shot and deal lots and lots of damage. And Untouched Onmyo is really coming in handy because I have shot tons of these in a row, and we will get the Raizen Feather finish. And just like that, 5,700 per bolt, he is dead as fuck. That is the power of this build. If a target is large enough that all 3 bolts hit consistently, you will deal an obscene level of damage and electrocute the ever-loving shit out of them, and isn't that what we all love? And of course, I still have unlimited blade works, if that isn't enough, which will refill very rapidly upon hitting enemies with so much lightning magic. This build will not melt bosses in 5 seconds flat like Water Sword, but it is viable enough against bosses and is very fun to clear levels with, even in higher levels of New Game Plus. I hope you give it a try because it is actually a very fun, very flexible build that can actually output a pretty competitive amount of damage when utilized properly. But that is the build. I guess.